Hello and welcome to Deep Six Wrestling's Glorious or Rotten Rewind. I am your host, the glorious Robbie Rotten, aka the Glorious One, aka Mr. Money in the Bank. This episode is going to focus on WrestleMania IV, which took place on March 27th, 1988, from the Convention Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey, which is the home state of Deep Six Wrestling. So this is actually the first of several WrestleManias that takes place in New Jersey. This one kicked off with Gladys Knight singing America the Beautiful, and she did a pretty good job. It's a fun fact here. Actually, this is the first year that all four current Big Four pay-per-views that have basically existed throughout the whole run of the WWF, WWE were in existence, with the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. Obviously, there have been a couple of big ones in between. We had King of the Ring for a while as pretty much a big five, and now we have Money in the Bank, which is pretty much a big five as well. So the Big Four is in effect here, though, which is pretty cool. Well, the first match of the night was actually a 20-man battle royal, and I am going to read off the participants of this match. We had Bret Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Bad News Brown, Nikolai Volkov, Boris Zukov, Sika, Danny Davis, Sam Houston, Ken Patera, don't know why I couldn't read that, Junkyard Dog, Hillbilly Jim, Harley Race, George the Animal Steel, the Killer Bees, the Rougeau Brothers, the Young Stallions, Ron Bass, and Paul Roma. And the winner of this match gets a trophy. And this was a pretty fun way to kick off WrestleMania, I think. I'm a really big fan of Battle Royals always, so this was fun. George the Animal Steel, wouldn't get in the ring for some reason and was just standing on the outside, helping pull heels out, which is pretty dumb. And then he ended up never getting in the ring, and he just disappeared. I don't know what that was all about, but I thought that was kind of stupid. Bad News Brown wins by last eliminating Bret the Hitman Hart after the two have an alliance where they eliminate a bunch of other guys, and then Bad News Brown turns on Bret Hart and throws him out. And then Bret Hart starts getting cheered, and he comes in and beats up Bad News Brown and breaks the trophy, and he gets a big pop for this. So that was pretty cool. It's nice to see that Bret Hart was actually kind of appreciated early on, because he came in second in the Battle Royal at WrestleMania II as well, and now he's in second in this Battle Royal. So he's been in pretty prominent spots so far, so that I've seen him. So that's good, and he obviously became a huge star in WWF. Overall, this was a fine way to kick off the night. It was solid. No complaints here. Oh, and before I continue, a majority of the matches on this show were a tournament to determine the winner of the vacant WWF Championship, which was vacated because Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan had another match on, I believe it was Saturday night's main event. And Andre pinned Hogan after, not even really, it was a fast count, and also Hulk's shoulder was up. There was some kind of weird thing that went on there. And then Andre tried to sell the title to Ted DiBiase, so they decided to vacate it instead. So that's why this was vacant at the time. Okay, first up, the first match of the tournament, we had Ted DiBiase with Virgil and Andre the Giant versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And you know what? I'm going to kind of take it easy on these matches. I'm not going to rate them too harshly because it's a tournament, and obviously they're not going to be barn burners, really great matches for the most part. So I'm going to kind of go easy on them. I'm not going to really judge them as if they're meant to be 5-star classics. And this was alright for what it was. Hacksaw's shtick of the "ho" gets old really quick, especially when he does it like 6 times in a row. Like he hits him with something and he goes "oh," it's got old quick. And obviously Ted DiBiase gets the win with a fist drop after Andre the Giant kind of gets involved behind the ref's back, and he trips Duggan, and then he punches him too while Duggan's kneeing him into the ropes, and then Duggan hits a fist drop for the pin, and he advances to the next round. So there's that. There's first match of round 1. It was alright. Alright, in the second match of the tournament, we had Don Morocco with superstar Billy Graham versus Dino Bravo with Frenchie Martin. I don't know what that was. And the commentators keep calling Don Morocco The Rock. I can't. I mean, obviously, The Rock was not a wrestler then. At least The Rock that we know, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, was not a wrestler or even a thought of a wrestler, so I guess it was alright, but I couldn't get over it. They kept saying it, and I hated it. This was not very good, but again, I'm not going to treat this too harshly. This was the first non-finish of the night when Don Morocco wins by disqualification after Bravo pulls the ref in front of himself to save himself from like a diving move, not off the top rope or anything, but Morocco was going to give him like a forearm or something, and he pulls the ref in front of himself, and the ref, when he finally comes to, he DQs him. So Morocco advances to the next round, and that's it. Then not good at all. But I'm not gonna be too harsh, so we're just gonna move on. Next up, we had Greg the Hammer Valentine with Jimmy Hart versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who came to the ring with his son, who I believe actually went on to become a wrestler too, Richie Steamboat, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did anyone ever make an arm drag look as exciting as Ricky Steamboat? I don't think so. This man was so good. Music has actually really been more frequent so far this WrestleMania. I'm really digging it. Everyone's really, not everybody, but a lot more people have had music so far, and we're only 3 matches in, so that's a good sign. Also, Ricky Steamboat's chops, I would not want to get hit by those. Those were vicious. It sounded like a baseball bat was hitting Greg Valentine's chest. Jesus. I would not want to get hit. They sound like they hurt. This was a pretty solid match, actually. As to be expected. These two are both really good. If they had more time, this could have been something really good, I think. And actually, in kind of an upset, Greg the Hammer Valentine gets the pin after he reverses a diving crossbody off the top rope, ending Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's undefeated streak at WrestleMania. He was 3-0, and he loses here. But this was pretty solid. This was the first match of the night that was actually a good match. I mean, we're not that far in, but this was the first match of the night that was good, and I actually pretty much enjoyed. The Battle Royal was alright, but that's just a Battle Royal. Good match, though. Next up, we had Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth versus the Natural Butch Reed, who had Slick in his corner. There wasn't that much to say about this match. There wasn't super amount of stuff going on. Butch Reed kind of dominated most of the match. He's really noisy. He grunts a lot, and he's just like, yeah! He yells and stuff. I don't know what he's doing. And then the finish kind of comes out of nowhere. Elizabeth, I think, distracted Reed, and then Macho Man was able to hit him with a diving elbow drop for the win, and he advances to the next round. Again, not a good match. Butch looked like he was pretty limited in the ring, but I'll be nice. Next up, we had the one-man gang with Slick again versus Bam Bam Bigelow with Oliver Humperdinck. The managers are getting worse and worse. Between Frenchie Martin and this guy, horrible managers. Bam Bam looked really, really good. You know, he looked athletic and very agile, especially for a guy his size. He was very quick. But this was super sloppy. One Man Gang is not very good. He's just a big guy. One Man Gang gets the win when Slick kind of holds on to the rope while Bam Bam's running at it, and he kind of trips over it and falls backwards. And then when he's trying to get back in the ring, One Man Gang just gets in his way and just keeps like stopping him from coming to the ring, and One Man Gang wins by countout. I'm not going to be nice to this one. This one gets a rotten. This was bad. Really did not enjoy this at all. Okay. And then we have the final match of the first round. Mind you, this is 7 matches deep. And we're still in the first round of the tournament. This match was Ravishing Rick Rude with Bobby Heenan versus Jake the Snake Roberts. This sounded like it would be a really good match on paper, but it wasn't. Man, this was brutal. I would say, let's just say that the finish was a time limit draw. The 15-minute time limit in the first round, 30 minutes for the second round, and I think it's unlimited for the finals or whatever. And this was a 15-minute time limit draw, and this felt like forever. Like, if you told me this match was 45 minutes, I would have believed you. These two probably had rest holds on for 12 out of the 15 minutes of the match. I don't even think that's exaggerating. It was brutal to sit through. This is absolutely a rotten. This is rotten. I was really disappointed. I thought this was going to be one of the better matches when I saw the two come to the ring, but just torture. And next up, we have a match that's not part of the tournament. It's just a regular singles match on the card. And honestly, this match felt like it was unnecessary because of how many matches were already on the card. Or was so bloated as it is. But whatever, it's here. Hercules with Bobby Heenan versus the Ultimate Warrior, who was showing up at WrestleMania for the first time. And I don't know, this was just there. Warrior wins with it's like a weird double pin situation, but Warrior kind of gets his shoulder up at 2, so he picks up the win, while Hercules essentially pins himself by mistake. And he's mad and tries to attack Warrior with the chain after, but Warrior gets the chain and swings it around. It's kind of a cool spot. It really didn't feel like a WrestleMania match, but whatever. It was there. I don't care. It was alright. Next up, we had what everyone was really anticipating. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant in round 2. Andre had Ted DiBiase and Virgil by his side. And this was not nearly as epic as their WrestleMania 3 match. They had a really good video package before showing everything up to this point, but it just didn't have the same feel at all, obviously. A lot of Andre's mystique of being undefeated and all that stuff was big for WrestleMania 3, and that wasn't there this time. And, it was what it was. It's a double DQ finish when they both hit each other with chairs. And honestly, that was fine. It clears them both out of the tournament and allows somebody fresh to pick up the championship, Now, either of them are out, so Hogan's not going to win the title again, and Andre's not going to win the title again. So here we go. Someone fresh is going to get the title, which is kind of nice. But what I found weird was Hogan posed and celebrated after the match for a full 5 minutes. What are you doing? I know he's the top star and all this, but it seemed excessive. I understand him posing because that's what the fans want, but that was a really long time. I was okay with this. Like I said, I'm fine with it clearing the path for a fresh star, so it was okay. And we got Don Morocco, again with superstar Billy Graham, versus Ted DiBiase, who did not have Virgil this time because Virgil actually got attacked by Hogan after that match. I forgot to mention that. But Virgil got like suplexed on the outside and he was injured apparently. And again, the commentators will not stop calling him The Rock. I can't stress enough how much I hate Don Morocco being called The Rock. It just bothers me. This was... That's another tournament match. DiBiase gets the win when he clothesline. It's not a clothesline like you would see like a lariat. He basically throws him backwards onto the top rope so his neck hits the top rope. And then he just pins him after. Because, I mean, it sounded pretty brutal to me. Especially back in those days. They didn't have such crazy spots that we do now. So he gets the win and moves on to the next round. And you know what? He's actually going to get a bye to the finals because Hogan and Andre are both eliminated. And his bracket would have had to go through one of those two. So he goes right to the finals. So we already know DiBiase is in the finals to face whoever wins, the winner of the third round semifinal match, you know. Next up, we had Greg the Hammer Valentine with Jimmy Hart versus Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth. And Macho Man and Elizabeth are in matching gear for the second time, actually. And it's different gear. I really appreciate that. I really like that they went to that effort. And this was a pretty solid match. Both of these guys are really good. And obviously, Macho's going to get the win here with a small package and move on to the semifinals. And yeah, this was really solid. One of the better matches of the tournament so far, definitely. Okay, so we're through the first two rounds of the tournament. And oh my god, they should have made this a much shorter tournament. It should have been 8 men, 10 at the most. I could see them doing 10 if they still want to keep the Andre and Hogan thing with the double DQ finish, so they're eliminated, so they're at least in the tournament, but they're not impeding it. Make it like 8 men, have it like Steamboat, Valentine, I don't know, just have it like 8 guys. You know what, here it is. Here's who I would pick. I would have picked Steamboat, Valentine, DiBiase, Savage, Rude, Roberts. I don't know, man. You could have one-man gang in there if you really want them. Anybody else. Just pick one other guy. I don't care. Duggan, fine. And then just have him do like 3 rounds instead of this. This was too much. Because this is already like 11 matches. And there's still a lot more to go. Oh, man. I can't. Next up, we have the Honky Tonk Man, who is the Intercontinental Champion. It's the Intercontinental Championship title match. With Jimmy Hart and Peggy Sue, who is actually Sherry Martel, versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake. This was alright. I mean, Honky Tonk sold really well for Brutus, and Brutus is pretty good hand. Jimmy ended up hitting the ref with a megaphone and causing a DQ. Another non-finish. So many of them on this WrestleMania. I don't know why they couldn't have just had a finish in this match, but whatever. And then Brutus celebrates like he actually won something. I don't understand babyfaces celebrating disqualification wins. You didn't win the title, don't celebrate. It's stupid. It makes you look like an idiot. I don't get it, and I don't know, man. We could do a backstage segment with Bob Uecker, who's back for a second year, actually. And he was really good in the role, so I'm with this. He's interviewing Andre the Giant, and you've probably seen this meme or the GIF or whatever, where Andre's choking him out, and this is that. It was pretty funny. I really enjoyed this. Then we go to the next match, which is the Islanders, Tama and Haku, and Bobby the Brain Heenan as their partner. He's actually in the match versus the British Bulldogs and Coco Beware. Wrestlers with Animals Unite! I don't know what that's all about, but there it is. Heenan is in like a weird like dog trainer suit. I guess he's afraid of Matilda. And I feel like the babyface is sold way too much for Heenan with his offense when he was in the ring, especially since he's not a wrestler really. But there it was. The heels actually get the win here when the Islanders slam Heenan on top of Coco for the 3 count. And man, this is 2 years in a row that the Bulldogs get beaten in a WrestleMania match by a non-wrestler. Poor Davey Boy, poor Dynamite, poor Matilda. I don't know what that's about. I mean, the action between the actual wrestlers was pretty solid. It was kind of short, but it didn't need to be long, especially on this card. It was fine for what it was. And then we have the semifinals, which apparently, I forgot to mention, One Man Gang advanced in a bye because of the time limit draw between Rick Rude and Jake the Snake. So One Man Gang went straight to the semifinals. And this was One Man Gang with Slick versus Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth. And again, they have different matching outfits. Great. I love it. And all three of the gear things so far looked awesome. So, looks great. Unfortunately, the match didn't look so great because One Man Gang sucks. He never should have made it this far in the tournament. I could see him being in round 1 and losing, but he never should have gone this far. And I guess he's just there to be a big obstacle for Macho Man, but whatever. Macho Man gets the win by DQ. Again, more DQ finishes. When One Man Gang just takes Slick's cane and tries to hit the Macho Man. Like, he doesn't even care. The ref's there. Like, the ref is distracted for a second, but then he just keeps going and tries to hit him. He's not even hitting him. He's trying to hit him. And he's just missing. And the ref just DQs him anyway, and it's terrible. Rotten. Stupid. Rotten. Dumb. Too long. Too many matches. Rotten. Stupid. Rotten. Okay, and then we had the Tag Team Championship match with the Tag Team Champions, Strikeforce, Rick Martel, and Tito Santana, who did not come out to Girls and Cars, which made me very sad. Stupid WW at work. Pay Robbie Dupree so you can use the song. I want to hear Girls and Cars when they come out. Versus Demolition, Axe and Smash, with Mr. Fuji, who seems like a really random manager for them, but whatever, it works, it's fine. This was fine, pretty solid, really solid match. I'm pretty burnt out by this point, so I wasn't really taking great notes, I'm sorry. Demolition ends up winning and starting their long tag team title reign here. When they hit, I think, Axe hits Martel. Yeah. Axe hits Martel with Fuji's cane while he's applying a Boston Crab to Smash with the ref distracted by Fuji. And then Smash gets the pin and they win the titles. And that's 2 matches in a row with a cane involved in the finish, which, whatever, weird. All the managers have weird props. I don't know. But yeah, this was totally fine. One of the better matches of the night, I think. So, very solid. And then finally, we get to the main event for the WWF Championship, and it is the Winged Eagle Championship. One of the most beautiful titles in company history. I think my preference is on the Big Eagle from the Attitude Era by a little bit, but I do really like this title as well. And yeah, this is Ted DiBiase with Andre in his corner versus Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth. And for the fourth time, they come out in matching separate gear. So they had 4 different things made, and it was awesome. Elizabeth in the matching dress, and the Macho with the cape and the headband. It looked great. And I really applaud that. The match was solid. There was a lot of good action, but you could tell the guys were tired. They wrestled a bunch earlier. And Andre keeps getting involved early. But then Elizabeth runs to the back and gets Hogan to even the odds. And while Andre has the ref distracted, Hogan gets into the ring and nails DiBiase in the back with a steel chair. And Macho hits an elbow drop. 1, 2, 3. Brand new WWF champion. And you couldn't give it to a more deserving guy. Macho Man was fantastic. He absolutely deserved it. I kind of wish it were like a one-on-one match without any distractions, but that's alright. I guess this is what they wanted at the time. And yeah, this was a good match. Definitely one of the better matches of the night, but not really that special. And really, there were just too many matches on this show. It really kind of hurt the quality of the show. There were just too many matches. 16 matches in a little bit over, in around 3.5 hours. I know more recent WrestleManias have had a lot of matches, but at least they've given them more time to breathe. This was just way too much. I don't think this tournament, at least at the amount of matches and participants, was the right call. This was a chore to watch, this WrestleMania. I was tired 2 hours in, and there was still another hour and a half, and I was like, when is this going to end? I'm going to give it a rotten. There was nothing, no standout matches overall. Nothing really caught my eye as special. What a shame. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do not forget to like, comment below, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at Deep Six Wrestling, and go like us on Facebook at Deep Six Wrestling. Have a glorious day.